don't wear brown and orange, you don't matter.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
Well, buddy boy, I want you to get excited here.
With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield.
Okay, listen up, people. I'm going to turn you clowns into a football team.
To the best fans, the most patient fans in the league, the Browns are going to win.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Do you know what day it is, Mike?
Do I know what is?
What day it is?
Oh, I know what day it is. Do you know what day it is?
I have been reliably informed as to the date today.
The day today is Victory Monday.
It is a Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. How sweet it is.
Back to back.
2 in a row.
That's 2 for the price of 1. You paid for them both, but you know.
That's true. Now, we won last week.
That's 1.
We won this week.
That's 2.
If we win again next week, that's called
3.
a winning streak.
It is called a winning
streak. In the
streak.
words of Lou Brown, manager of the fictional Cleveland Indians.
The fictional Cleveland Indians?
Well, in the movie they were fictional. They're real, obviously.
Okay.
Listen, why are you messing with me, man?
Because
Listen, you're not going to bring me down right now. The Cleveland Browns, 2-1, above 500.
They are.
I'm excited about all that. We're going to get into all this in a minute. But before we break into the Browns and all this other stuff, by the way, the flag behind me, I'm so excited about
it's a good
my
look.
flag. I like the flag.
You did well with that.
I love my Browns flag back there.
Yeah.
We're slowly adding, more.
I like the way on this shot here, the logo on your hat and the logo on the flag they merge.
It blends. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm excited about it. But listen, before we talk about all the exciting things with the Browns, which there are many.
That's got to be weird to say.
It is a weird thing to say. And don't listen. It might be short-lived, so I'm going to enjoy it while I can. We do have to talk about something else that honestly is bugging the hell out of me.
Okay.
And I've been bugging you. I've been bugging the hell out of you for an incredibly long extended period of time on this, and it involves the NFL in general. And so I'm just going to state what it is.
Before you get into this.
Okay.
For the people who aren't watching us live, if you're watching this on the broadcast on YouTube later, just fast forward this bit.
No,
just
listen to
skip
this
right through it
because this involves all of them. It's a simple thing. One of the things that I wanted to incorporate into this show, and still want to incorporate into this show, and I'm trying desperately to find a way to do that. I don't like your attitude right now.
I'm ready to go. I'm teed up.
Is highlights.
Yep.
Game highlights.
Yeah.
I want to be able to show footage from the game, show clips, talk about them, break them down. Do this and that and the other thing. And unfortunately, I do understand the fact that you're not allowed to because the NFL has all of that stuff copyrighted.
Yes.
They are a gigantic monolith of a corporation. It's $1 billion industry. They pay for all of this. They own everything. Every single thing about them. I'm probably breaking a copyright by wearing this hat right now. I'm probably breaking a law that they could sue me for. It's frustrating because here's why. Today, I emailed the NFL. I spoke with the NFL to try to gain permission to show highlights on this show. And they
laughed at you.
They did laugh at me. They responded to me shockingly fast. I was honestly really surprised how fast the NFL got back to me and told me, no. And then I was like, here's the part that irritates me. I said, okay, you're not going to get me permission. Can I pay for it? I'll pay you for licensing so that I can do this going forward. And
money exchanging hands for goods
right.
and or
I'm
services.
literally telling the NFL, I am going to pay you cold hard cash.
Something the NFL loves.
They love money.
They do.
And I'm promoting their product here.
You are.
And they responded to me even faster.
With another...
No. And this time it was ended with what I felt was a rather insulting and have a good day.
Yeah. That was the they were telling you to shut up and go
So
away.
it's irritating me because for the longest time now I've wanted to get things on here. It's one of the ways I really wanted to make this show a lot better was by using the footage, pictures, images, all of that stuff. And it's frustrating that I can't do it right now, and it's putting me in a bad mood.
It's almost as if the NFL broadcasts are exclusive for their viewers.
I understand that. It's the part
they have a whole disclaimer.
And see, here's the thing, too. I'm trying to do. I understand all of that. I'm trying to find ways to use this stuff, and I'm willing to pay them for it.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that frustrates me. I'm willing to pay them for it, and they're still like, yeah, keep your money, stupid face. They didn't call me specifically stupid face, but that's what it feels like. So that part's frustrating, but I digress. I'm not going to keep going on and on about it, but
Good.
I wanted to bring it up because I keep hammering you on it. Well, can we do this? 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 And every the question I ask you, the answer is always no.
Well, and I don't know how you missed years ago when when I first started working in this industry, I started as a sports photographer. That's what I did. I went out and I shot sports events.
Right.
Working in Wisconsin, I went and shot Packer games.
Right.
I sat on the sideline. I froze many appendages off.
Yeah, well, because it's Green Bay.
Yeah, it's cold there.
A little chilly.
It's chilly there.
It's worse than Cleveland.
Yeah. And a few years ago, the NFL decided to stop letting news stations, affiliated news stations, major, not just, some cable access show, but actual news affiliates from shooting NFL games because they want to control all
everything
of the video that their fans see.
Which is, it's ridiculous to me. I mean, it's...
Yes.
I just don't understand. It's just irritating to me. That's all. I mean, I could go on and on. We could make a whole show about this, honestly, and talk about it back and forth. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to sit here talking about that constantly, but I'm trying to be able to figure something out here. There's really no loophole around it, and I'm getting it.
He keeps trying loopholes.
No,
and
I'm trying.
Exist.
No, they don't, and it's irritating. But so
and
nonetheless,
as I've mentioned, even if they did exist, not only do you have to find the loophole, but you have to find the loophole and enough money to fight the NFL in court.
That's why I said to you, I almost want to have the NFL sue me. I almost want to fight the NFL in court.
I just want to be on the record is before that happens, I better be getting paid.
Well, I mean, if the NFL sues me, I'm not going to have any money. My kids aren't going to have any money. No one will have any money for anything for the next 4 generations of my family. That's probably how that's going to go.
That sounds about right.
My grandchildren will be paying this debt for my tomfoolery. What'd you do, Papa? Well,
I picked a fight with the NFL.
Yeah. All right, moving along, though, because now let's be excited, Kevin. Let's be excited here. Everybody, let's be excited. The Browns are 2-1, baby.
2-1.
2-1. First time, if you want, you can go ahead and put that first graphic up there, Kevin.
Okay.
Some news and notes on the game here, and I'll expound on these a little bit. But the first time above 500 since 2014, 84 games we went at 500 or below, which is a staggering and awful level of incompetence, ineptitude, and outright suck.
It is a staggering statistic that it took me a while to understand.
It took me a while to understand it as well, but it didn't.
Because to at any point be above 500, all you had to do was win your season opener.
Well, we don't do that here in Cleveland.
I know.
Ever.
But it's literally that easy to break this.
Yeah, since 99, I think we're like 119-1 or something like that. That's that. We've won one game in the opener.
That's incredible.
You can drop the graphic down for a little bit too.
I don't know how quick you were getting through.
No, it's fine. Well, we can go back and forth. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah, but then I got to push buttons.
But yeah, it's stunning to even think about that. But also, we're 2-1. We have not been 2-1 since 2011.
And that, again, not that lofty a mark to hit.
No, it's really, that's what's even more like what's shocking about it and frightening. And I don't know. But again, I just want you, because sometimes, well, we've been doing this for a while now, but sometimes I don't think you understand how bad it has actually been here in Cleveland,
because
every Browns fans.
The worst the Browns have been for me was last season, the first season that we did this.
Right.
Which wasn't terrible.
No, that's
were some
one
high
of
points there,
and that's one of the best seasons we have had in a very, very long time, and everybody here knows that as the truth. So, to be 2-1 right now, and by the way, in 2011 we finished that season 4-12. Well, that was Pat Shurmur as our head coach, and we all remember that man fondly. So that's how we start 2-1, finish 4-12. That's Cleveland. That's the Browns. That's how we do things. That's how Cleveland.
That's how things get done.
That's how things fly off the rail real fast. So I'm not going to get too excited about the 2-1, especially because the teams that we played clearly are not. I believe, Kevin, you texted me during the game. You said, "Congratulations on beating another D2 squad." Well, yeah. It's kind of true. I mean, Washington is not a good football team. They're well coached.
They are top of their division. We'll get to that later.
Yeah,
but they are top of their division.
So we beat a first-place team is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. See, it makes it better. That's how we spin things here. Oh. That sounds fantastic. That sounds way, way better than the D2 squad or their terrible football team.
You beat a division leader.
But no, it is the truth. I mean, they're just not good football teams, the Bengals or the Redskins. They're not the Redskins. The football team.
The football team.
The Washington football team. It's going to take me a while to get used to saying that.
I feel like every time they're talked about, there should be like a robotic voice. Like, you know, the voiceovers they do in movies that they air on TV where they got to edit out the swear words?
Right.
And coming up, the Washington football team.
Right, that's exactly what it should be. It's that one, and then I'm still not used to saying Las Vegas Raiders. That one's taken me a while to get used to.
That one's okay with me because I never got used to Oakland. So it was always the Los something Raiders. So
Los Angeles,
Las Vegas,
yeah,
whatever, it doesn't matter. The Los Angeles Chargers gets me, though.
They really don't know what they're doing. I don't think it – yeah, that's true, too.
That's a little weird.
Nonetheless, these teams were terrible, and that's all there is to it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or keep going on about it. It's a bad football team. Admittedly, it's a bad football team. But nonetheless, here we are. We're 2-1, and it's way better than being 1-2 or 0-3 or already talking misery and all kinds of awful things, which we are very want to do in the Cleveland Browns community. So it's good to be off to this start. We actually beat some teams that we should have beaten.
Yes.
I didn't think that we were going to beat the Baltimore Ravens in the opener just because of our history in that game, but also Baltimore is a very good football team. I didn't think we were going to get our teeth kicked in the way that we did. I wasn't expecting that.
It wasn't that bad.
It was, what was the final? It was like 38-6, man. We got destroyed in that game. I mean, we looked terrible.
Maybe I've got the Browns optimism.
But what I do like is the fact that they're doing some things that now we don't really see out of the Browns. They rebounded from it.
They did.
They got a win against a team they should have beat.
Yes.
Now we've come out and we beat another team that we should have beat, and we did it. This is usually where the Browns kind of like fold and start to just go away, and the season's 0-3, and already the woe is me starts setting in. Baker Mayfield played another fantastic game. We'll get to him a little bit. I know that there's a couple people watching, specifically Matthew J., who still is not on the Baker train. He's going to be. He's going to be before it's all over. I'm going to make him.
You're going to buy him a ticket.
I'm going to buy him a ticket. I'll buy him the ticket because it's going to happen. Again, a little bit of some erratic play, a little bit of wildness from him.
Certainly. Again,
we've talked about that. But overall, I was happy with it. I'm happy with where we are. I'm happy with the start. The since 2014 and 2011, it's just, and we're undefeated at home. By the way, there was another thing.
Yeah, there's a nugget.
Undefeated at home now, 2-0. It's only 2 games.
Hey,
but I'm gonna take it because it's,
that's a quarter of the way to an undefeated season at home.
Well, and that's what you want. I mean, here's what good NFL teams try to do, and this is just a common strategy, NFL 101.
Yeah,
win all your games at home. Split on the road, you're 12-4, you're in the playoffs, and you have a chance to really do some damage. That's what you're aiming for. And right now the Browns are on that track.
Yeah.
They have not been knocked off that track, so I'm going to try to stick with the optimism and try to believe in them a little bit. Now, there are some things that I do believe in, some things that I kind of don't believe in.
But speaking of getting knocked off the track, I think that was one of the big questions that we had last week after the game was the run game worked really well.
Right.
Is that something that they're going to have the patience to stick with if it doesn't start running well right away?
I hope so, and I think that
I think we saw a little bit of that this week.
I think we kind of learned our lesson a little bit because the week before, I mean, obviously everybody ate. You know, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, everybody was eating. They got theirs last week. And then this week, we kind of started working the ball a little bit, trying to go to them, but we started working in more passes as well. And it was really the third quarter, and we can just break down the third quarter now. That's when things kind of sputtered. The offense even had they came out right after the half. We have a 17-7 lead at halftime. The offense comes out, has an immediate 3-and-out.
And then gives up a score.
And then things start kind of going awry for the Cleveland Browns. We give up 13 unanswered points to them. You turn a 17-7 halftime lead into a 20-17 deficit in the third quarter. And we weren't doing what it is that we're good at. We weren't working the things that we're good at working, which is pounding that run game. And we did something, again, that Browns teams we're not used to seeing from Browns teams. Normally, that's the type of the time of the game where you see them just fold and just kind of delve into not being good and letting a win get away from them. But this team didn't do that. They really got after it in the fourth quarter again, got back to what we're good at, which is the run, which is Nick Chubb, which is Kareem Hunt, put up 17 points in the fourth quarter, then shut Washington down and really turned the tide and did what a good football team is supposed to do. And it's crazy that I'm saying that because that's just not what we're used to seeing here. That is encouraging to me. That is a very, very encouraging thing to me to see this team do that and to be able to – it gives me confidence going forward that just because we're down or just because something's not working, we can get back to what it is that we're good at. We can get back to our bread and butter and really start pounding these guys. And that's what we need. And they showed up. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both showed up in the fourth quarter, and that's what this team is built on. I think that's – it's no question that's what's going to get us – to long-term success.
I will say, kind of jumping back to this here, because I think another big different point, not to say that your first-dairy issues have completely been solved or anything by any stretch, but you used 21 players on defense and had 5 takeaways in the game.
Yeah. Now, again, and, we discussed it a little bit, during the game, obviously, off air, but I'm still not sold on this defense completely.
No.
They're better than
there were some
than
lapses for sure.
There were some lapses, and I've been a little bit too hard on the defense. In overall yards, we're number 9. We're number 9 in the league in total defense. Yards. I believe on points we're number 24. But the yards per game thing really surprised me. I didn't think that we were that high in the rankings. Up front, we are a very good football team. We have a fantastic defensive line.
All you need is a T-shirt to tackle somebody.
And it's the truth. And our linebackers they're not the greatest core of people, but they're competent in what they're capable of doing. For me, it's the secondary. It's still the secondary, and I'm still going to call it the first-dairy until I start seeing plays.
Until you see otherwise.
Yes, we had 3 turnovers. We had 3 interceptions, but Dwayne Haskins was doing everything in his power to keep giving us the football. His interceptions were bad throws.
They were.
Way more bad throws, bad quarterback play than it was outstanding defensive play.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what has me worried. And again, we just played 2 really bad football teams. Washington was number 31 in total offense. 31, and they still put up yards on us and scored 20 points, and at one point was leading the game in the third quarter. That's against a bad football team.
You did give up too many points. I will definitely agree with that. In both this game and last week's game, gave up way too many points. And, I mean, you're going to give up points against the Ravens. That's going to happen.
Of course.
But the last 2 weeks, you've given up way too many points. I think it was bad quarterback play. But I think
Very
some of the other
Very bad.
pressure in the game is what creates bad quarterback play sometimes.
And that's certainly true. And
you start feeling rushers who maybe on that play aren't actually there.
And Dwayne Haskins, too, is still an incredibly young quarterback in the NFL. He kind of got thrown into the fire last year, coming into the league as a rookie. This year, again, he's going through the kind of the same thing that Baker Mayfield that I've brought up. Now he's got a new coach. They have a new system, a whole new way of doing things again, and it's that turnover and stuff. So, it's very, very difficult for a quarterback to get comfortable, especially, a young one like Dwayne Haskins. But again, some really, really bad throws on his part. Really bad throws. And listen, I'm glad that the defense stepped up. I'm glad that they took advantage of those opportunities. I'm glad that they made the plays that they did make. 5 turnovers is nothing to, you can't poo-poo it.
Right. However you get them, you get them.
Right. And I mean, again, Myles Garrett showed up, another strip sack.
Yeah.
I don't have to talk to anybody about how great he is. Myles Garrett going to do what Myles Garrett going to do, and
with or without a helmet in his hand.
Nobody is going to stop Myles Garrett. It's just, and I think that he's one thing. I was disappointed that he didn't show up in that first game. I was kind of like, hey, where are you at? I think that his ability and his play and what we've seen from him specifically last season when he really flourished and really came into his own. Now I'm kind of spoiled. Like, I have to get out of my mind that Myles Garrett isn't going to have 2 or 3 sacks a game every single game. Because I think that he is, and he should. And, like, I'm mad if he doesn't, which would be absurd because then he'd have, like, 40 sacks in a year, and that's crazy talk. But that's how good of a player he is and how impactful he is and how disruptive he is in that backfield. And you saw him going off on Haskins. I mean, he got to him twice. Again, a second week in a row with a strip sack. That's what you want. That's why up front, and Larry Ogunjobi was making plays, and Sheldon Richardson. These guys up front we have one of the most ferocious, unstoppable defensive lines in the NFL, and that's awesome. It's everything else behind us that has me worried. Now, again, we've got the injury bug, but Greedy Williams still isn't back. I don't know what his injury. We'll see as this week goes on if that's going to improve with him. Hopefully, he can get back. That gives me a little bit more hope if he can get back in because Ward is just out there, on an island all by himself. Almost had that pick this week.
And that's the flip side of, you had 5 takeaways, but you used 21 players on defense.
On defense. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot of guys.
For any team.
And I'll move to because of the Chubb. Everything that Chubb did, 19 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, and was a fourth quarter beast.
Yeah,
he just came alive.
When you need to just eat clock, get the game over with,
and that's what we wound up doing. You had the pass, the pass to Kareem Hunt that got another score, and that's how you're putting up 17 points in the fourth quarter. That's what I want to see out of my team. And Kevin, you had a great stat on here for OBJ. It seems like it's a lower, not the greatest stat line in the world. 4 catches, 59 yards, but for Odell Beckham Jr., all 4 receptions went for a first down. And that's the type of production that I'm looking for out of OBJ. Not necessarily the gaudy numbers, not necessarily the big, huge numbers, but just the numbers that he's moving the chains. Those are 4 impactful receptions that he got for us, and those are difference makers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Those are great plays. That's what I want to see. You get a catch for 8 yards, but, it was on 3rd and 9. I don't care about that. It's not doing me anything. Move the chains. Was it a flashy game for him? No, it wasn't. Was it spectacular? No. But this is what I want. And I want to say one other thing about OBJ.
All right.
Just to sing his praises on something. This is clearly a run-oriented team. This is a run-oriented offense. And we're still kind of feeling it out. We still haven't mastered this yet. But that's absolutely what we're doing here. One of the things that I see out of OBJ, and I can tell that he's embracing this type of offense and this style of play, is his blocking. Because if you watch what he's doing during a game, especially on these runs, he is blocking. And he is doing it with some ferocity to it. He's doing it like, hey, we are going to run this ball down your throat. Watch this. I'm taking you out of this play. And he's doing it. And that speaks volumes to what type of player Odell Beckham Jr. is, how much he wants to produce for his team, and how much winning is important to him.
I think the best OBJ is the OBJ that you don't need every week
right.
to make the superstar plays.
Right.
You know that he can, and he will.
And he will.
But if you don't need it, if you don't rely on it,
right.
that's the key.
Could he go off for 240 yards every single
100%.
week? Of course he can. Of course he can. But it's those blocking there's no stat for blocking.
No.
There's not going to be any, how many, blocks did OBJ spring, Kareem Hunt on or Chubb on? It's not a stat. But if it was, there would be a lot of people that would be pleasantly surprised by seeing that. And again, because I still think that OBJ gets a bad rap by a lot of people. Is he a diva wide receiver? Yeah, he kind of is. He has that reputation and stuff, but I think I think he's a very, very misunderstood player, and I do think that he's an incredibly good teammate. And when I see him blocking the way that he's blocking out on the field, it reinforces that to me, that this guy's all in. And he doesn't care about his stats. He doesn't care about flashiness. He's not a give me the ball, me. He's not a Terrell Owens type guy. He's not a who is it? Who wrote the book? Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
Give me the damn ball. He's not that guy. He's not that type of diva number one wide receiver. He's I'll do the dirty work.
It's about understanding what your value to the team is.
Right, and it's important.
I guarantee you he does not think that he is not valued by the Browns if he's not getting 20 targets a game.
Agreed. I completely and totally agree with that. I agree with that in every way. So that's great to see. And it's great effort. Clearly Baker Mayfield has a really good rapport with Jarvis Landry, maybe a little bit more than OBJ right now, which I'm fine with because Landry's moving the sticks too, and he's making impactful plays. So I see you already. I see you, Megan. You got the look.
There are some comments.
There's some comments in the chat.
Listen,
let's get to it. It's our first comments officially of the season.
First of all, let's say hello to all of you watching the stream tonight. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, thank you everybody who's checking us out.
I do see some new names in the chat as well. Chesapeake Picker is here, along with our favorites Matthew J and P Dubs, also here tonight. If you are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please click the little link down below.
All that stuff, yeah. All that stuff right down there.
Doesn't cost you anything, but you will get alerted when we go live, which is not always on schedule.
Well, these things happen.
I digress.
But yes, and also clicking on all these links and subscribing to all this stuff, it's going to it'll get us to the next step that we want to take with the show.
That still will not include NFL highlights.
Slowly, don't do it to me. So let's get to. By the way, what did you say, Chesapeake Picker?
Chesapeake Picker.
I have no idea who you are. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show. Hopefully, you stick with us for the rest of the year now.
He points out Haskins wasn't ready to leave Ohio State, at least not start for a couple years.
No, absolutely not. That's a solid comment. I agree with it. Again, and listen. I mean, I'm a Ohio State honk.
A little bit.
I love the guy when he was with us. I loved it. I loved his play. I loved his game. Us. Oh yeah, I'm saying it, baby. Okay. But no, he was definitely not NFL ready. He would have benefited by sitting. I think that he should have taken his time, but unfortunately, the NFL is starved for great quarterback play, and you get drafted as a high pick as a QB, you're going to get marched out there. So, and I think that was a little bit of a disservice to him too. So, we'll see though. But I agree with that comment.
Matthew J would like to remind you that apparently you were the one calling for OBJ to be traded last year.
I don't think that I was doing that. I probably did. Listen, I probably did. It was probably ranty because here's the thing: he was making a lot of drops.
There were
a lot of drops last year. And he's already had a couple this year. I'm never going to not call out a player, especially of that caliber, for making bad plays. And when I see drops that are completely inexcusable, it's, again, when you see OBJ doing the things that he does and making the catches, that it would be like Myles Garrett blowing through the line with a free shot on the quarterback and then just completely whiffing on him and falling on his face. Yeah. I would be like, what are you doing? What happened there? How do you not make that sack? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to call him out on it, and I don't know if it's a concentration thing or what, but I mean, it was probably said in as our season was imploding and it was all unraveling and I was angry, just like last week, Kevin, we were talking about the coach, because I was like, who's Stefanski, blah, blah, blah. I was so angry.
We did spend an entire show blowing up the current head coach.
And last week I was like, hey, you know what? I'm excited about this guy. Listen, I'm not going to say I'm not hypocritical about things. I absolutely am, you know. Like I said last week, hope springs eternal every September, baby. So I'm okay with that.
And this is why you have to be sure to tune in all season to see what ridiculous things he's going to say this year.
I have no idea.
That will be complete egg on his face next year.
I have absolutely no idea.
And I do want to, again, thank our good friend P-Dubs for being with us again, because he did already drop in chat, and we'll get to this later.
Okay.
But just so that you know it's there, a little nugget of the 20 years of suck.
Oh, a little nugget.
So we can bring that segment back this week.
Okay, I like 20 years of suck. That was and we're on decade number 3 now, so that's exciting.
No, this decade ends it. It's over, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We're at 21 years since 99, so
I don't math very well. So
I'm just saying, I hope that we don't get to 30 years of suck, because I don't know if I can tolerate that, honestly, at this point. Let's bring up the next graphic, Kevin.
Yeah, I was about to do just
that thing. And this is the part because
this is where the NFL just gets weird.
Right. Speaking of suck and 20 years of it, probably the most dysfunctional team in the NFL is the Washington football team. If there's anything worse than the Browns, it's them.
Right.
And they're 1-2, admittedly a bad football team, but they're in first place in the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
First place. That garbage team is in first place in the NFC East, because clearly that is an absolutely garbage division.
Yes. And we talked about this briefly before the show, but to point out for all our wonderful viewers, they are first place in the NFC East by virtue of a terrible points against. So both Washington and the Cowboys are 1-2. Washington has given up 81 points, and the Cowboys have already given up 97 points.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, because that's who we're playing next week. So keep giving up those points. What a terrible division. What a terrible division.
The Eagles are 0-2-1.
The Eagles
and the Giants are 0-3.
What just a garbage division that is this year. Just a garbage division.
Just keep in mind, one of these teams is going to the playoffs.
Somebody's going to win that division and go to the playoffs. This is going to be like, what was it? I don't know how long ago it was. It was Seattle made the playoffs.
With like a losing record,
yeah,
right?
It was like they were like 7-9 and made the playoffs.
It's
that was
terrible.
a while ago. I want to say it was probably like 9-10 years ago. But I remember that.
I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was only like 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't know if Russell Wilson was a quarterback of that team. I could be wrong.
That's
you guys look it up. You guys tell me. But I do remember that, and I'm pretty sure they were either 7-9 or 6-10. It was bad.
It was bad.
It was really, really bad. And
there was another division where like 3 teams clearly should have made the playoffs. Right. They all had like 10 plus wins.
Well, and that's happened to the Browns before. I mean, the one time we did have the one time, we went 10-6 one year and missed the playoffs. Like, how do you go 10-6 and not make the playoffs? Because Cleveland. Because that's why.
That sounds right.
But yeah, just a terrible division. So we'll see how that plays out. But for the last last news and notes that JoJo is a no-no. That's kind of a bummer.
It is.
It was a pretty solid offseason signing for him. It's not debilitating to the team, but torn ACL, so he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Poor JoJo.
Unfortunate.
He had some speed. He had a little bit of promise.
Absolutely. I'm just going to drop this in here since we've kind of already gone through all this anyway.
Yeah, and here's the AFC North report where everybody stands now. Oh, I hate that Pittsburgh is still undefeated too. But the Bengals. How about the Bengals tying last week? I can't make fun of it too much because we had a tie last year. So.
Well, and the Packers did in recent memory too. So I can't.
Or the year before, rather, not last year.
Ties are dumb. They shouldn't exist. They play a role in soccer, of which I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
But they're treated differently.
No, I hate ties in the NFL.
In the NFL, they're stupid. Yes,
I absolutely abhor the fact that there can be ties. I don't know why. I could go off on a tangent on this. I don't know why that the NFL just doesn't automatically take the college football format and do it like that. I mean, get rid of the sudden death crap. Get rid of if this team scores first, but they score a touchdown, then they automatically win. But if they get a field goal, then the other team can also get a field goal too. And then it goes back. Oh, my God, like my head hurts. It's a terrible format. It's anticlimactic. It's boring. And then ultimately it could end the crap way that this game ended. It's just garbage. It's a garbage system. I don't know why they do it.
The Bud Selig All-Star game.
Just give everybody the football at the 25-yard line and just keep rotating until somebody wins. wins. Do it like college. That's probably D2. I don't know if the D1 does it that way, but oh my goodness, they got to get rid of the ties. But I'm still going to make fun of Cincinnati for finishing with a tie because that's just awful.
It is.
And I can make fun of them because it's the Bengals. So
yeah.
And we just smoked them last week. So
you won.
I said it. Listen,
you won.
We won. We smoked them.
You did not smoke them.
We smoked them.
You won.
Now, speaking of smoking a team, though,
yes,
the Cowboys gave up all those points.
They did.
And we're playing them next week. Now, here's the thing that I'm worried about to kind of tie in the defense here as well that I was talking about earlier and gives me a little bit of pause. The Cowboys have the number one offense in the league in yards per game.
That is a bit of the difference. They have given up 97 points, but they've scored 88.
Right. So I think that there's going to be a possibility of this being probably a shootout, which I'm okay with. Because if they're going to put up a lot of points, we can put up a lot of points too.
I was going to say, you got to like your weapons in a shootout.
I do like it. Now, again, it's. I'm not going to, go off on the Cowboys. They do have a pretty potent offense. Dak Prescott he's not an elite quarterback. I'm not in the, put him in elite category, but he's a good NFL quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. He leads that team well. He does a good job when it's necessary. Amari Cooper is a great wide receiver, and they got Zeke. So they have, I'm not going to call it formidable, but they have a good offense, and they have a good offensive line too. And I think that, they can do damage.
Yeah.
They can absolutely do damage, and it's kind of been proven where they are sitting. They put up points and they put up yards. So that worries me for our defense, for our first dairy next week, what it is that they're going to do. But if they're that bad on defense, it kind of gets me excited. What are we going to do?
What are you going to do?
Because
I get that.
We have that opportunity now to really explode as an offense.
Yeah.
So was there another? I saw you looking up there.
There's a few
comment.
things in here. P-Dub's weighing in. His problem with Baker is that they've invested so much through the draft, trade, and free agency on offense, where the defense looks like it helps. Do you think you could plug in an Andy Dalton or a Jameis Winston and outperform Baker?
No, I don't. Here's the thing with Baker. Again, he is still progressing as a quarterback, something that we touched on last week, Kevin, and I'm still going to keep harping at. It takes a while for a player to develop in a system. And again, Baker Mayfield is on his fourth head coach in 3 seasons. This is his third system. He's constantly having to learn, and he's never gotten to a point where he can just go out and play. He's still playing like he's thinking. This is the playbook. This is where I need to be. This is where my check down is. This is where I need to be looking for. He's getting better. We had the first week in quite some time where we didn't have any turnovers from Baker. Was he outstanding? No, but he completed 70% of his passes, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns. And again, Kevin, one of his touchdowns and one of the things that I keep harping on as a strength of Baker Mayfield is his ability to move outside the pocket, to throw on the run. And that touchdown that he had, not the one to Hunt, I forget, it was to our tight end.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was a great play.
And that
was a great play.
He jumped out of the pocket. He's moving out of the pocket on the run, finds him open. That's where Baker Mayfield flourishes. That's where he is a good quarterback. And again, if we have an established running game, if we have this 2-headed monster setting the table and they're just chewing up other teams, it gives Baker Mayfield the opportunity to go out there and really perform at that level. Eventually, I think that he has the ability to become a franchise quarterback, a really good leader, an elite quarterback in the NFL. And I think that he is better than an Andy Dalton or somebody like that who could just plug and play. Would those guys have success in this system? I think, of course, they would. How could they not?
Right.
With the weapons that we have. But there's a different.
Would they be inherently better?
Right. You don't see a lot of football teams winning Super Bowls, making deep playoff runs with average journeyman quarterbacks.
Right.
You just don't do it. We hear it constantly. It's a quarterback-driven league. You have to have an elite quarterback. Those are the guys that get you where you want to be. Patrick Mahomes, winning MVPs, winning Super Bowls. Russell Wilson's, winning MVPs, Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers. Those are the guys who are getting it done every single year. They're elite quarterbacks. You need to have that. Is Baker Mayfield elite right now?
Not yet.
No, he's not.
No.
Do I think that he can get there? Yes, I do. I absolutely think that he's got the ability to get there. He has to prove it. He's got to do some more. I need to see more consistency out of him for me to believe that and to really toe that line. But again, it's a process. I know everybody hates it. Everybody hates hearing. I hate hearing it, but it is a process, and he needs time to learn this offense, master this offense. Hopefully, we can keep what we have going.
So Joe Flacco need not apply.
Joe Flacco definitely need not apply. Joe Flacco is he even in the league anymore? What a bum.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, but he's got a Super Bowl, and
he does. He does.
Going on Baker Mayfield for total QBR, and it's the ESPN total QBR. Baker Mayfield is 9th in the league.
That's not shabby.
9th in the league, or I'm sorry, 8th in the league in total QBR.
He was 9th last week,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
he was 9th. He moved up. And Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patty Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Drew Brees are all above him.
That's the company you want to be in.
And exactly, that's what Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. These
MVPs.
These are MVPs. These are Hall of Famers.
These are the guys you want to be in their company.
The elite of the elite, aside from Josh Allen, who I'm going to give him his due. He's having a good year so far this year.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm going to put him in that, but he's in that category now. Ryan Fitzpatrick is doing the Fitzmagic thing again in Miami.
You got to do what you got to do.
Eventually, the wheels are going to fall off of that, like it does for him every year.
I don't know.
So, but those are the two outliers there, and then there are so many people, below that, below Baker Mayfield. So, I mean, again,
including Mr. Instant Regret himself, Tom Brady.
Yeah. So, I mean, Tommy's doing just fine down there in Tampa.
He's enjoying his early retirement while still playing football.
He's already in Florida. Already in Florida, taking advantage of that. To answer and finish that point, I think it's a wait and see. We'll just have to see. But I do think he's better than having just a journeyman average quarterback. Anything else from up there? Is that all?
I think that gets us caught up for now. But again, thank you to everybody who is watching. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button down below or followed us on the Twitter stream, our illustrious social media manager is present and tweeting away.
Jessica over here feverishly pushing buttons and making things happen on the intrawebs, which I don't and see.
Jessica, who Mike still did not invest in a camera nor microphone
we'll get you here soon enough, man. Listen, I can't. The budget is slim, and it's just But here's the thing: I see the look on your face over here, and I don't get to see any of our social media posts.
You have
during
a laptop
the show.
in front of you. Well, you can go to www.twitter.com/barkinglot show.
But I can't,
right in the URL at the bottom of your screen here.
Listen, I can't sit here reading the tweets of my own show during the show. I just can't do that. I'm trying to talk about the things that we're talking about here. Which this gets me off track. But I guess to round it out, let's as we head towards home on the show here, let's bring up my favorite stat so far.
Oh boy,
my favorite one. Let's bring it up here. Bring it up. This is it. My season record. I'm 3-0 right now. I'm 3-0. I'm undefeated. I'm even better than the Browns. And listen, just looking at the schedule too here, I don't know. Like I've mentioned, this game does scare me because our defense is suspect with the first area.
This is an easy schedule.
After this, though, that's a slew of winnable games.
The Colts are terrible. The Steelers will be tough because it's the Steelers.
True, we are in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you've already shown what you can do with the Bengals. The Raiders are terrible.
I don't think the Raiders are terrible, though.
They're not great.
They're at least a solid team.
Okay. Houston's okay. Eagles,
terrible.
Jacksonville,
terrible.
Titans,
yeah.
And
then
you got Baltimore, but now you have them at home at least.
Right. And then a terrible New York Giants, a terrible New York Jets, and then we have
the
Steelers
again. At home at least.
Right. And that is a very, very favorable schedule for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it's not like last year we ran a gauntlet. Every single week was a playoff contender, or a division title contender. It seemed like every single week that we were playing the best of the best.
You also played the Dolphins.
Well, I said almost every week, but it's a favorable schedule, and it gives me a reason for optimism and hope. It's just we're gonna see. I don't know. So here's my call. You ready for my call?
I want it
for the Dallas. Now, mind you, what did I say for the score last week?
I honestly don't remember.
I'm pretty sure I said 38-20.
You might have said 38-27.
38,
but either way.
38-17, I think, is what I said. Because it was a 3-score game. I said we were going to blow them out. I was pretty close because it was 34-20.
You were pretty close.
I said 38-17.
I will give you that.
All right. I just want that noted for everybody. I was pretty darn close on all of this. That's how that went down. So
nobody will ever forget.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll put up a memorial over here.
Shootout, Kevin. This is going to be a shootout.
All right.
This is going to be a barn-burning, high-scoring shootout affair.
So before you give me your score.
Okay.
Over-under.
You want the over-under?
Yeah. 72?
I'll set the over-under. I'll set the over-under at 55.
I'm taking the over.
And I would absolutely take the over.
The over on that.
I'm absolutely taking the over on that because I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go for the Browns. You know I'm calling for a Browns victory on this one. We're going to Dallas.
Yeah.
This is the type of game where if we win this game, things start to...
Yeah, that's a momentum shifter.
Things start to shift for the culture of the Cleveland Browns. This is actually a very, very big game. It's an important game. There's a lot. I don't want to overstate it, but I think there's a lot on the line here with this game because this could really set the tone. We would be 3-1 in September. That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't happen with this team, and that would go very, very far in setting the tone for the rest of the season and that schedule. It would give the Browns confidence.
Absolutely.
They're going to start to believe in themselves if they can get over this.
That would be massive going into that Steelers game.
So with the over, I'm definitely going to take the Browns here on this one, and I'm calling it a high-scoring affair, 41-38.
All right.
41-38. I think that this is the game where Baker kind of elevates.
Okay.
And sets himself into, this is my team. I'm the franchise quarterback of this team. Everybody who keeps doubting me and talking all that mess, I'm talking to you, Matthew J.
He left.
That's all right. He's going to still see this anyway.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Fingers being pointed.
It's going to shut him up. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what we're going to see. So that's my call. 41-38. Write it down.
I'm just going to say I'm guessing Baker could win a Super Bowl and it wouldn't shut him up. But that's...
Oh, absolutely. He would probably say that he had nothing to do with it. The 399 yards that he passed for were garbage yards that came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he went 25 for 26. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the most negative Nancy poo-poo I've ever seen or heard. So done with that guy.
I will say that I think it is going to be a close game as well. I think Dallas needs it more.
They do need it.
And that's a problem place to be in Dallas.
But this is a Cowboys team that is always prone to doing
that lost to the Ram, that squeaked out a 1-point win over Atlanta, and then lost to the Seahawks.
And they do some real – for all that they have, the Dallas the last few years has done some real Clevelandy things. They have done some real Clevelandy things to lose some ball games when they absolutely should not have. So I'm hoping that springs up. I want to see some more.
You want to see more of them?
I want to see more old-style Clevelandy football out of them. And new-style Cleveland football out of us and take advantage of that. That's what I'm hoping for right now. I think that sounds like a plan.
I think that's a great idea.
Jessica's in complete agreement with me over here. She totally agrees with that. She's putting it up on the Twitter feed right now. Right, Jessica? Jessica said yes, by the way, everybody.
The look on her face does not seem to indicate
it doesn't
that.
inspire confidence.
I know that look.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what comes up. You guys can probably check the Twitter feed right now too. I don't know.
You certainly should be. If you are not, you need to. Again, it's right on the bottom of the screen.
Down there.
This one.
Check it out. Subscribe to it. Read it. It's good stuff. It's hilarious. I do tweet during the games and stuff too. So check out. Hop on Twitter. follow me, follow you.
Check in the first half, because depending on how the game goes and
whether
Skipper
or not
is hydrating with,
depending.
I just
on,
called
yeah.
him Skipper and not Shooter.
Yeah,
I just noticed that.
Yeah, and that's very upsetting to me. We're not going to do that again. Is that your dog's name?
It is. Yes.
You just called me your dog's name.
Well, two people I yell at a lot. Okay.
Me and your dog. All right. Be nicer to your dog, by the way. Don't yell at him so much. Be nice to your dog.
He's a very good boy.
He's a good dog. He's a good dog.
I had two things I was going to say. One of them I completely forgot. The other was, as promised, revisiting the 20 years of Suck.
Okay.
P-Dub's question today. If I can, I need a bigger screen over here because this is really hard to read.
You could get closer to it.
I could, but then I'm like leaning off camera and away from the microphone, and that's
well, we
weird.
can't have everything.
Awkward for the viewers. I'm doing this for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, them, not you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pointed at the camera.
Yeah,
Come on.
That's what I thought.
Besides Joe Thomas, best players in the time period of the 20 years of Suck.
Best players. Wow, that's a tough question because, do they have to have played for a long time? Because Chris Spielman was on this team technically.
Okay, I mean, if you want to get technical,
but he like broke his neck and never got to play for us. One of the first names that stands out to me is Jameer Miller. He was a linebacker many years ago. Actually, I think he was the first Browns Pro Bowler when we came back. Rock solid player on defense. Loved Jameer Miller. Tore his Achilles in a game, and that was it. He was done. First game of the year, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure P-Dubs can double check that for me. But yeah, it was a devastating injury, and it ended his career too. He was donezo.
There are some other names that I would have probably put on that list.
Like?
Well, you could start with Brady Quinn, Jake Delhomme, Seneca Wallace.
Oh, you're being a funny guy
Johnny
now.
Manziel.
I see. You're being funny.
RG3.
Yeah, is that it?
Connor
also,
Shaw. We got to put Connor Shaw in there, former Gamecock.
Listen, Connor Shaw once threw a pass that stayed in the air for 17 seconds. I counted it. It was like a helium balloon going up into the stands. Every single player on defense got under it and waited for it to flutter back down to earth. It looked like the Good Witch coming out of the clouds in The Wizard of Oz, gently coming down.
Gently coming.
It was the worst pass I've ever seen thrown in an NFL game.
Well, I do want to remind you, we are in South Carolina. There are fans of his.
Listen, none of them are
area.
watching the show, so I'm okay with it.
You don't know that.
All right, I'm just saying, man, it's a thing. So Jameer Miller and the other Jamal Lewis is another guy that really stands out to me because he was a beast.
Going back to serious answers. To
Gashed us when he played for Baltimore. Here's a stat for you, Kevin. You can appreciate this is again just to tell you how bad the Browns were regularly.
Right.
Jamal Lewis in one season. 2 games.
Okay.
In 1 year, 2 games, gained 500 yards rushing against the Browns.
Ooh.
Went off for 295 yards in the first game and 205 in the second game.
That is impressive.
It was.
That's
unfathomable to watch.
Yikes.
And it was horrible, but that's what happened. But when we got him, he was a solid player for us too. Actually, I believe that he was our running back on that 07 team that I referenced earlier that went 10-6. That was probably the best record. That is the best record that we've had since we've been back. But he was our running back that year. Derek Anderson was the QB. The Moose from Scappoose was on the loose.
That right there is terrible.
Hey, that's what they said, man. He made the Pro Bowl with that. Derek Anderson, Pro Bowler, 2007. I'm pretty sure Jamal Lewis was our running back on that team, and so those are 2 guys that definitely stand out to me. I think that's pretty solid additions to the team.
Another, I believe, new viewer. If you've tuned in before, I apologize for not noticing. Brandon asks, if the Browns beat the Cowboys, who will be happier, Stephen A. Smith or Browns fans?
Well, I have to say that, and I'm almost proud. Brandon, thanks for joining us. I'm pretty sure I know what Brandon that is.
I would probably pronounce the last name wrong.
Is it Repco?
Yes.
That's okay.
Then
yeah,
that's
okay.
not how I would have pronounced it, so I'm glad you said
okay,
it,
yeah. No, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it, buddy. I try as much as I can to not listen to anything that Stephen A. Smith ever says. But you're not wrong. I mean, he does go way overboard. I think that you know the answer though. If we're 3-1 after this game and we beat the Cowboys in Dallas, it's going to be the Browns fans. This would, like I mentioned, it would be an incredible feat for us to have that kind of a start to a season, 3-1 in September to start off the year. And getting over that hump, because then you're looking at that Indianapolis Colts team, like we just talked about. That's not a good team. They're not terrible,
right?
But again, it's beatable. Now you have a chance. You're talking about maybe being 4-1, and you're building. I don't want to get too far ahead as a Browns fan. I don't want to go down that road, but that's the reality. You start thinking that, and you start gaining what we've never had. It's confidence.
Not to immediately go negative here, but that's the kind of win that even if you follow that up with a loss to the Steelers, you're no longer doom and gloom.
Right. Well, and that's absolutely true.
You're still okay. You're still above 500.
And that's the
You've
thing.
You've still got a bunch of cupcakes on your schedule.
Yeah, you don't. And we've never had that, with this franchise. We've never had that breathing room where if you drop a couple of games,
it's not the end of the season.
Right, where every single game is just always, it's so deflating, and it takes everything out of you. And I don't want to lose games. I'm never going to be happy about the Browns losing a game.
Right.
But it's a solid point because I would love to be in a point where if you lose a game, you're not like, oh, that's it. The season's over. This is a terrible team. Fire the coach. Start over. But you're like, it's just a loss. It happens.
That was you last year.
Move
though.
on. And
that was you last year.
Well, because that's what happened. I know that was because it's exactly what I'm saying. And when I was trying to be like that at the beginning of the year this year when we lost to Baltimore. You know what I mean? I tried to. It was a terrible loss, but I tried to be like, well, you know what? Let's just get over it. It's one loss. Move on. Get a couple wins, and you're in good shape. And we did.
Right. Yeah.
And we've done that. So I'm hoping that this team can keep that, please, a little momentum, a little bit of mojo.
A little bit of mojo.
A little bit of mojo.
Not a bad thing to ask.
Jessica, I heard you over there laughing. So is mojo okay? Oh, was that what that was?
She attempted to stifle it.
She attempted to stifle the thing. We're gonna have to get you. We'll have to get you, Jessica. Any sneezes that she does, we're definitely gonna be playing live in the show.
Okay, I'll cut to them right away.
Jessica Canton, live with the sneezes. You can see her winding up for it, man. That's all I'm saying. I can't see her. She's to my left. You know what I mean? She's way over there. But
She's way over there.
You can stare right at her, so you got a better view. You know what's coming.
So many things I could say. Not gonna say them.
All right, not gonna let it go. By the way, we have to one quick shout out to our official sponsor of the show. I am wearing my Baker Mayfield Danger Zone shirt. Available at Zabo Apparel.
See how I teed you up for that? I had it ready this time.
It's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I had it ready.
Great stuff. Check out the website. Again, great guy, fan of the show. Huge fan of the show. I'm speaking for him right now, which probably isn't a good idea.
Yeah, no, keep saying it. Supporter of the show.
Yeah.
Sends us all sorts of money. Yeah.
All sorts of money. He sends us thousands and thousands of dollars. But no, check out his shop. Give him a look. Give him the website. A lot of great Browns apparel there. Or I'm sorry, I don't want to go down the trademark road. Cleveland football apparel.
I will say also has other just Cleveland and Ohio themed apparel.
Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff.
I'm a big fan of the Ellie shirt, the Lake Erie Monster.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah, he's got great stuff. Check it out. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is. Also, congratulations to the Brewers for backsliding away into the playoffs.
Is that what we're really going to do that? You're going to end the show with talking about the Brewers?
I had to.
Like I said, like a drunk husband stumbling in the door at midnight.
Blindfolded, walking through the woods.
So bad. Do we have out music? Play the out music.
We might have out music.
I don't think we have out music.
No, we do have out music.
Do we have out music?
Yes.
Look at us with our fancy things. By the way, not Twitter, the Zoom and the
Skype?
Thank you. My brain doesn't work all the time.
No.
We're going to be adding that back into the show so we can get some people back on. Matthew J is going to be joining us, and I saw you stopping there for a moment. I thought you were giving me a little. Pastor Sean's going to be back.
I don't know what this was.
We're going to have Pastor Sean back on the show. Matthew J will be back on, and hopefully a few more people.
People who are smarter to talk about this than me.
Yeah, and way smarter than me. That should be pretty easy because I clearly have no idea what I'm doing.
I'm carrying the show, and I don't even understand this team.
I'm 3-0. I just want to say that, by the way. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for joining me.